The books that change your life. Episode 2. I'm Ruth Kudzi, the founder of Ruth Kudzi Coaching. I transformed my life and my business, and I'm passionate about helping others do the same. So today I'm talking about 3 more books that I highly recommend that you read. Books that have really helped me to think differently and to act differently. The first one I'm talking about is The Miracle Equation by the brilliant Hal Elrod. And I feel like this is his best book. It's not his most famous book, but for me, it's a book that connects the most. He talks about these miracle mavens, these people that always seem to get what they want. And he talks about that magic source with examples from his own life and lives of others. And the 2 ingredients are, first of all, unwavering faith, that belief that you are able to do what you set out to do. And I see this all the time in my clients and in myself. You know, I've had clients before who are like, okay, it's day 25 in the month and I have yet to make any revenue. And so there's 2 things that you can do there. You can either be like, well, I'm just going to give up. I'm not going to make any money this month. Or you can keep going and believe that this is going to happen for you. Now, I always think that you have to back up that belief with actual action. And that is exactly what Hal Elrod says. Unwavering faith and extraordinary effort. Going the extra mile. What that doesn't mean, it doesn't mean hustling all the time. It means that really focused effort. So knowing what you want to achieve, believing that that's possible, and working on that belief every single day. And I know that I do that so much in my business. I work on, okay, right, I believe that this is possible. I believe that I'm able to do this. And the more that I can work on my belief, the more that I'm then going to be acting on it. So if you want to create miracles in your life, you need to have these 2 ingredients. Extraordinary effort. Real focused, deliberate, intentional effort. This doesn't mean that you're just on social media scrolling through. It means that you know where you're going and you're taking those steps, that you look for solutions, that you take action towards a goal. And alongside that, the self-belief. If you do not believe that it's possible for you to get to this goal, you're not going to get there. And it may be that you start with a small amount of self-belief and you build it and you build it and you build it. And that is something that you do daily. The secret really is you and your mindset and you and your effort and that focus. Focused effort. Actually, focused effort means that we may actually do less because we're really clear on what we want. I know I was listening to somebody who's got, I think she's got an 8-figure business on a podcast recently, and she was talking about the fact that part of the reason she got there is she only said yes to things that were consistent with her goals. And that was all she said yes to. She looked at her goal, will this help me get there? Yes or no? What I love about this book is he uses lots of real life examples. He talks about actually when he was a salesperson selling knives and how he was able to be the top salesperson because he believed that he could, even when he was miles away from his target. And equally, he did that effort. He knocked on more doors. He asked for more referrals. He asked for those upsells. And this is really, I know that online we see this idea that we're just going to all be lying by the beach, drinking our pina colada or whatever your poison is, and the money's going to be rolling in. But actually, when you're looking at examples from real people, yeah, you can get there, but you have to do the work first. And that's one of the reasons I love this book. So self-belief, exceptional effort, together we can be miracle mavens. We can achieve our goals. We can achieve great things. The second book. This is a book I actually send to every single person, wherever they are in the world, which might be a challenge at times. Every single person who signs up for the coach training course with me, the professional coach diploma, we get this book. Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is really, instead of us thinking about making monumental changes, this is about making small changes to what we're doing. Small changes and that consistent compound effect. This isn't about the fact that we have to change everything. It's about building new habits. He talks about habit stacking, where we build a new habit which adds on to an existing habit, and those cues as well. So if something will, for example, when you're boiling the kettle, you can have a glass of water. So that is a way that we form the habits, by having the cue and the specific event that happens, and then following that up with a specific action. It's really easy to read. It's really well laid out. It's about starting small. He talks about the 2-minute rule. 2 minutes a day. We don't need to exercise for 30 minutes every day. Actually, when we make things too big, we can start to think about reasons why we don't do it. But when you start small with those tiny, and there is also a book called Tiny Habits by FOGG, which is also amazing. But when you start small and you're consistent, you get that compound effect. I use this in my life. So recently, actually in the month of May, so I'm recording this in May 2021, in the month of May, I was like, okay, I'm gonna exercise every day. It's a bit more than 2 minutes. I'm gonna exercise, do an exercise other than walking for at least 10 minutes a day. Now, most days I've done more than 10 minutes, but that for me was something really manageable. And obviously if I exercise for 10 minutes a day or more, I'm gonna get significant compound effects. So I'm going to feel that benefit because of consistency. If you want to change anything about what you're doing and the habits that you have, I highly recommend reading this book. If you want to build new habits, if you want to start to build new neural pathways and ways of being, thinking and doing, I recommend this book. He breaks it down and he gives you examples from everyone to Olympians to CEOs. And really, it's about starting to build out those things that are going to support us, that often we call them success habits, that are going to make sure that we can be happier, healthier, and we can live the lives that we want to live. The third book I'm going to be talking about today is Breaking the Habit of Being You by Joe Dispenza. I only really came across Joe Dispenza about 2 years ago, and I was really lucky to see him in London back in November 2019. And he was talking about a lot of the work that they do. And actually, the work that they do, which is a lot of it is around focus and meditation and changing neural pathways, because we know when we change neural pathways, we not only change the way that we think, we change the way that we are, and we change the way that we act. And what he's doing actually, he's very specialized in neuroscience, and he blends that with spirituality and energy. Believes that we're all matter. And this book is really about the fact that we have the ability to change. Lots of people love to think that everything about us is fixed. Our body shape, the way that we are, the way that we think, the way that we communicate, our whole identity. But he talks about in here the science and the spirituality and energetic elements that mean that we can actually change everything about us. All of those things that we think are true, they don't need to be true. And I see it as a way of letting go and shedding those ideas and beliefs that we have about ourselves and actually stepping into who we're meant to be. I mean, it is quite a long book, but it's really, there's a lot of things in here. He talks about meditation a lot in this book and how meditation can really help us create space to start to change things. This is really about how we can reprogram cognitively and emotionally, and how that then impacts tomorrow. What we can do today to impact tomorrow. Joe's work is pretty groundbreaking. So if you're thinking, okay, I'm just going to dip my finger in, go onto YouTube. Joe's got a great channel. We'll put the link below and start checking out some of his meditations and his talks. And that can be a great place to start. The thing that these three books have in common, and the reason that I love them, is that they all talk about how we as individuals have the ability to change how we think, feel, and be. And I love the fact that whoever you are, wherever you are, you can change your thoughts. And if you change your thoughts, you can change your life. 3 different takes on how you can do that any of us can apply to our lives. So the next video is down here. Remember, before you go there, to ring that bell, subscribe, and give me some likes.